The footage was grainy, shot from a security camera positioned high on a concrete wall in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. But there was no mistaking the figure in the white polo shirt and dark jeans, Lionel Messi, the greatest footballer in history, diving across a dusty courtyard to tackle a man with a rifle. Maria Santos, investigative journalist for Global News Network, had been staring at the 23-second video clip for the past hour. Her editor had called it impossible and obviously fake, but Maria's contacts in West African intelligence circles were insisting it was authentic. The timestamp showed 3 days ago. The location was confirmed as the presidential compound in Burkina Faso's capital. "Run it again," she told her video analyst, Jake Morrison, who sat hunched over his computer workstation in their cramped newsroom office in London. Jake clicked play, and they watched once more as the drama unfolded. The camera captured Captain Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso's military leader, walking across what appeared to be a private courtyard, flanked by 2 bodyguards. Suddenly, a figure emerged from behind a parked vehicle, a man in military fatigues carrying an AK-47. Then came the moment that defied explanation. From the left side of the frame, moving with the same explosive acceleration that had made him famous on football pitches around the world, Messi appeared. He covered the distance in 3 strides, launching himself through the air in a perfectly timed tackle that sent the would-be assassin crashing to the ground. "The physics check out," Jake said, adjusting his glasses. "The speed, the angle of approach, the timing, it's all consistent with someone who has Messi's athletic capabilities." But Maria, what the hell would he be doing in Burkina Faso? Maria had been asking herself the same question. She'd spent the last 5 years covering political developments across West Africa, and nothing in her experience had prepared her for this. Football stars didn't typically find themselves in presidential compounds during assassination attempts. "There's more," she said, pulling up another file on her laptop. "I've been tracking unusual activity around Messi's public appearances over the past 18 months. Look at this timeline." She showed Jake a spreadsheet she'd been building. Every major political event in Burkina Faso over the past year and a half was listed, alongside corresponding dates when Messi had been photographed or reported in various locations around the world. September 2022, Traore consolidates power in Burkina Faso. Same week, Messi's at a private training camp in Morocco. November 2022, reports of a coup attempt in Ouagadougou. That weekend, Messi's photographed at a charity dinner in Senegal. March 2023, mining rights negotiations with international companies. Messi visits a youth academy in neighboring Mali. Jake leaned back in his chair. "You're suggesting what?" "That Messi's been tracking Burkina Faso's political developments. I'm suggesting that one of the most recognizable people on earth has been operating in West Africa with suspicious frequency and timing. And now we have video evidence of him preventing an assassination attempt on the region's most controversial leader." The implications were staggering. If the video was authentic, it raised questions that went far beyond sports journalism. How had Messi been in position to intervene? What was his relationship with Traore? And most importantly, what did it mean for the delicate political balance in a region already struggling with instability? Maria's phone buzzed with a text from her source in Ouagadougou, "Can confirm authenticity. Messi departed country via private jet 2 hours after incident. Official silence from presidential office." She showed the message to Jake, who whistled low. This is going to be the biggest story of the decade. The question is, how do we verify it without getting ourselves killed? Maria had been thinking the same thing. The story was too big, too sensitive, and too dangerous to handle through normal channels. But she'd built her career on finding the truth in places where others feared to look. "We start with the periphery," she said. The Leo Messi Foundation has been active in West Africa. His travel records, his security detail, his business connections, everything becomes relevant now. Over the next 48 hours, Maria and Jake worked around the clock, building a comprehensive picture of Messi's activities in the region. What they discovered was even more extraordinary than the video footage. The Leo Messi Foundation had been funding projects across West Africa for 3 years, but the pattern of investments was unusual. Instead of the typical sports-focused initiatives, many of the projects were infrastructure-related: communications networks, transportation systems, security installations. All legitimate humanitarian work, but also the kind of infrastructure that would be valuable for intelligence operations. "Look at this," Jake said, pulling up financial records they'd obtained through a contact at an international development bank. The foundation's spending in Burkina Faso has increased by 400% in the past year. But here's the interesting part: the timing of the expenditures corresponds exactly with periods of political instability. Maria studied the data. It's like he's been preparing for something. Building relationships, establishing presence, creating the kind of network that would allow him to operate effectively in a crisis. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Kwame Asante, a political scientist at the University of Ghana who had been studying Burkina Faso's recent political developments, reached out to Maria after hearing rumors about the video. "I've been tracking unusual diplomatic activity in the region," he explained during a secure video call. "There have been meetings between Burkina Faso officials and representatives from various international organizations. Nothing illegal, but the pattern suggests coordination on a level that goes beyond normal diplomatic channels." Dr. Asante shared intelligence reports he'd compiled from open sources: embassy communications, travel records, financial transactions. The picture that emerged was of a complex network of relationships connecting Burkina Faso's government to various international actors, with Messi's foundation serving as a central hub. "What you're describing," Maria said, "sounds like the infrastructure for a major intelligence operation." "That's exactly what I think it is," Dr. Asante replied. "The question is whether Messi is a willing participant or an unwitting front." The answer came from the most unlikely source imaginable. 2 days after their conversation with Dr. Asante, Maria received a package with no return address. Inside was a USB drive containing dozens of photographs and documents. The photos showed Messi in various locations across West Africa over the past 2 years, but these weren't the typical publicity shots from his foundation's official activities. These were surveillance photos: Messi meeting with individuals who had been identified as intelligence operatives, Messi visiting facilities that had no connection to his charitable work, Messi in situations that suggested operational planning rather than humanitarian outreach. The documents were even more revealing. Encrypted communication transcripts, financial records showing money transfers between accounts linked to various intelligence agencies, and most damning of all, a series of briefing documents that outlined a complex operation codenamed Golden Boot. "This is insane," Jake said, scrolling through the files. According to these documents, Messi has been operating as a coordinator for a multinational intelligence network focused on stabilizing West African political developments. Maria felt her journalist's instincts warring with her sense of disbelief. The evidence was overwhelming, but the implications were almost too extraordinary to accept. "The assassination attempt," she said slowly. "It wasn't random. According to these files, there have been 3 previous attempts on Traore's life in the past 6 months. Each time, intelligence warnings came from the same source, someone codenamed El Magico." Jake looked up from his screen. El Magico, the magician. That's what they call Messi in Argentina. The final piece of the puzzle came from an encrypted message that arrived in Maria's secure email that evening. The sender was anonymous, but the content was specific and detailed. "The operation you're investigating is more complex than you realize. Messi's involvement began 3 years ago when his foundation's work in West Africa brought him into contact with intelligence agencies concerned about regional stability. What started as informal cooperation evolved into something unprecedented, a sports celebrity being used as a cover for intelligence coordination." The message continued with details that matched everything Maria and Jake had discovered. Messi's athletic career provided perfect cover for international travel, his celebrity status allowed him access to political leaders and sensitive locations, and his foundation's activities created legitimate reasons for maintaining a presence in politically sensitive regions. The assassination attempt was the culmination of months of intelligence work. Messi's network had identified the threat, tracked the would-be assassin, and positioned assets to neutralize the danger. His personal intervention was a last resort when other security measures failed. Maria stared at the message, her mind racing through the implications. If true, it meant that the world's most famous athlete had been operating as a key figure in international intelligence work, using his sports celebrity as cover for activities that literally saved lives and prevented political chaos. But the message wasn't finished. The final paragraph contained information that reframed everything they thought they understood about the story. The operation you've uncovered is not finished. Traore's survival was crucial to preventing a regional conflict that could have destabilized 3 countries and displaced millions of people. The intelligence network that Messi coordinates continues to operate, because the threats to regional stability continue to evolve. The message ended with a warning that made Maria's blood run cold: your investigation has been noted by various interested parties. The story you're pursuing involves issues of international security that go far beyond journalism. Consider carefully whether publication serves the greater good. Jake looked at her with concern. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Maria nodded slowly. That we've stumbled onto something that's bigger than a news story. That maybe some secrets are kept secret for good reasons. The video of Messi's rescue of Traore remained on their secure server, along with all the evidence they'd gathered. But as Maria stared at the footage one more time, she found herself grappling with questions that went beyond journalism. How many other impossible things were hiding in plain sight? How many other celebrities, athletes, and public figures might be involved in activities that the world would never suspect? And most importantly, what responsibility did journalists have when uncovering stories that might compromise ongoing operations designed to protect innocent lives? The man on the screen, diving across a dusty courtyard to save a political leader from assassination, was undoubtedly Lionel Messi. But the person behind that action was someone far more complex and mysterious than the football genius the world thought they knew. Maria made her decision. She encrypted all the files, stored them in a secure location, and began writing a very different story. The public would never see the video of Messi's rescue of Traore. Instead, they would read about a routine visit by the football star to promote his foundation's work in West Africa. Some stories, she realized, were too important to tell. And some heroes operated best when the world didn't know they were heroes at all. But late at night, when she looked at the stars above London, Maria couldn't help but wonder what other impossible games were being played on stages the world would never see. And somewhere in Miami, as Messi prepared for another match with Inter Miami, she imagined him checking secure communications, coordinating intelligence operations, and planning his next move in a game far more complex than football. The beautiful game continued, but now Maria knew it was just one of many games being played simultaneously. And the greatest player in history was competing in all of them.